appreciate it. I don't know what's going on. It might just be the internet here. I use Globe. I don't have Wi-Fi here at the house yet, so I don't know what's happening with that. But if you come on there, give me a shout out or thumbs up. Let me know what's going on, and we'll just kind of wait here. I don't see anybody coming on here. Maybe I'm still frozen. I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't look frozen from this end, but that's weird. Really strange. Trying to figure out if this mic's working or not. And there's somebody came in. If that's you, Steve, welcome back, and uh, give me a comment tell me if I'm still frozen or if you can hear me or what's going on. I'd appreciate it. Having some technical difficulties here in Elo, I guess, or maybe it's just with my phone. I don't know. But hi, Michael. Am I frozen, Michael, or can you hear me? Uh, Trying to, yeah. How am I coming across to you there, Michael? Am I streaming okay? Can you hear me? Can you see me, or am I frozen? I kind of need some feedback. I was just on a few minutes ago and it was frozen already. That's sweet. Just how I like it. So I like my drinks. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Michael. I don't know what happened there. It just might be my internet. Appreciate it, Michael. Thank you. But what I was trying to talk about before was road rage here in the Philippines and road rage in the Thailand. I was trying to do a comparison because I saw my first road rage the other day here in the Philippines. And well, I guess it's been a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't here at my new location. It was, yeah, thank you. Hit that like button if you don't mind, folks. Yeah, I saw two motorbikes chasing each other, and they weren't racing. The one guy did something to the other guy, and apparently upset that guy in the rear, and they were just, balls to the wall, flying down the road. And what I was saying earlier, before I froze up, was that it even brought security out on the street and got on their little Motorola radios or whatever they use, and radioing ahead to find out what these guys were doing. Because, the one guy was definitely trying to get away from the other guy, so I don't know what happened. And so I was just curious if anybody's had any road rage incidents here besides in Dumaguete, because I understand it happens there quite a bit with the foreigners. Never seen it, just passing along what I've been told. Might not be true. And hey, Angela, welcome to my live stream. We're going to be live here for a few minutes and just testing things out. How's my mic working? Is it too loud, or are you getting a lot of my fan noise? I don't know. I'm trying to test out this DJI mic to see if it's working properly. But yeah, Michael says, yeah. From what I hear, you need to bring patience for just about everything. Working on that. Thanks, Michael. That sounds good. I always have to work on my patience because I used to think I had a lot, but I'm finding out the older I get, my patience is less and less. But with the road rage, I have found this out. When you're on a small motorbike, you better be patient and don't think that you're gonna you're not going to win anybody or win in anything when you're on a 115cc bike. When you're on a 550, you can stretch your stuff and kind of own the road a little bit, but you still can't own the road against a four-wheeled vehicle when they're a lot bigger than you. I learned that a long time ago from my driver's ed teacher. Shout out to Mr. Riffle. I believe he's still living. But anyway, when I was in Thailand, now road rage is common over there. They go at it. But don't you dare beep your horn at them. You beep your horn at them, if they got a gun, they might come out shooting. Or they want to fight, they want to yell, they want to, confront you and everything like that, which you wouldn't think that would be in Thai culture, but it's there. Apologize for the lighting here, but this is what I got here in the house. But anyway, has anybody else experienced any road rage over here in Southeast Asia, or in the U.S. for that matter, or whatever country you're from? You can tell us about it. Tell us what you did, or what happened, or whatever. I'm always up for a good story. But I don't know what happened with those two guys on that motorbike. All I know is that they were getting it, and that's the first time I've seen. And I was commenting earlier too. Here it cracks me up in Thailand. Yeah, Michael. Good thing in the Philippines, beeping the horn is normal. You know. Hey Ray, welcome. I was just telling everybody I got off of yours, and I thought I haven't live streamed in a long time, so I'll just come on here and talk about a couple things and see what people's opinions are. And but anyway, let's see. Doug, did you send me? Yes, I did. Steve, that's me. Yeah, that's me. And it's got the beach scene on it. I don't have my photos on there for various reasons. But anyway, yeah, over in Thailand, you don't beep your horn over there. Living there 9.5 years, I beep my horn because I'm thinking, if death is imminent and you're the one who's going to die, I need to beep my horn. And because there was a couple times where I thought I was going to run some people over. Thanks, Steve. I got it. Yeah, thank you. And anyway, but you come over here, you could be sitting at a street light, lights red, not even turning green for another 15 seconds. And that dude, 6, 7 cars back, he'll start laying on the horn. And I'm just assuming that he's just saying hello to everybody. He just wants everybody to know, hey, look at me. I'm, top of the morning to you. Good morning. I'm just going to sit here and beat my horn because I want to be noticed. So I can't believe that, people aren't going when the light's red. So I'm just going to assume that they're just saying good morning. And over here in the Philippines, I noticed they'll beep their horn just to say thank you. And I'm like, you beep your horn at me, is there a problem? Or there's going to be a problem. Then, somebody with me, a Filipino, oh, no, they're just saying, they're just saying thank you. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess, thanking me for my good looks. I don't know. Just kidding. But Michael, let's see. Good to see you. It's been a while. Last video you were in Manila. Yes, sir. I was in Manila and just traveling, hanging out there. I was actually waiting for my stuff to get here and to Iloilo, and it's here. I'm in this new rent house. Not 100% happy yet. Still unpacking. If you hear squealing, that's the water situation here with the water pump that I'm not happy about, and the owner is. Worked on it for 3 days and decided he's done working on it. So I informed him that, okay, I probably won't be staying here for the whole year on contract. Or I'll fix it myself and buy the right thing. And then when I leave, I'll take what I buy with me and put back, the stuff that he has. And if you're watching this, there Kent, apologies, dude, but I just keep it real. It's just the way it is. And nothing bad against you, brother. But, if a man's got to know his limitations. If you don't know how to fix something the right way, you got to let somebody else do it for you. And anyway, I'm here, blind spots. Yeah, moving is so much fun. I've moved my whole life, Michael. Generally about every 3 years we moved growing up. And then as an adult, I moved every few years. I think the longest I ever stayed anywhere, I worked at a prison in Philadelphia. I activated one there, and I ended up staying there about 7 years because my wife at the time said, I'm not moving the kids until they're all out of high school. And I informed her that I'm not staying in Philadelphia, not for 1 year more. And yeah, I kind of won that discussion, and I didn't stay in Philadelphia. She did, but I didn't. And it's all good. It's all good. But hey, Steve, yeah, Ray saying hey to you, Steve. Steve saying hey to you, Michael. And yeah, it was a pretty good live stream. We had fun there at the end there, Ray. I got you at the tail end of it. I'm sorry I missed most of it. I'm trying to do stuff here at my house, but I'm tired right now, so I don't feel like doing it anymore. And another thing I want to talk about is Ray and I kind of mentioned a little bit. Let's talk about gossiping Filipino ladies. Does anybody know anything about that, or has anybody experienced that? Yeah. Steve says, yeah, for the price of labor, I let everyone do everything for me. Yeah, I'm getting to that point where I used to do everything myself, but I'm getting to the point now where I just assume pay somebody. However, sometimes if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, or you got to be right on top of them. And most of your workers in Southeast Asia, they don't want you right on top of them. They hate that, and I mean they detest it. That's been my experience, especially in Thailand. They hate it. If you micromanage or you over supervise what they're doing, they'll just walk off the job. The next day you won't see them, and because they're like, oh, I'm not working for something like that. If I need to take a smoke break, you telling me I need to get back to work and whatnot, I just won't come to work the next day. I'm assuming here in the Philippines it's probably the same way. If you micromanage your workers, unless they're used to that or used to dealing with foreigners, they're probably not going to appreciate it, and you're probably gonna lose it. Yeah, Steve, I will. Yeah, I'll hit you up now that I got you on the other social media. I'll reach out to you, and we can get together sometime. Ray says, laugh out loud. Lynn informed me some of the ladies in my chat were on accounts just created today, so most likely Filipino spies. You gotta love that, man. You know, you gotta love. I'd like to say only in the Philippines, but it's not. But you gotta love stuff like that. Uh, your lady, she wants to keep track of you. So what does she do? She gets her friends. Hey, go on there and subscribe. Get on his channel and tell me what he's talking about, or tell me if he's flirting with anybody. Just let me know. And you're sitting there like, what in the world? I'm not flirting with you. I'm just being polite and being friendly because as a man from America and some other countries, that's the way we're raised, and that's what we do. We just, if somebody says good morning to you, it doesn't matter whether it's a man, lady, child, you say good morning back and how are you? Well, over here that can be construed as, well, you're flirting with them. Well, what do you mean? Well, you asked them how they are. Why do you care how they are? You in love with them? You like them? Why do you care how they are? You must be in love with them. I've experienced it. I've experienced it. Let's see. Steve, for sure, Doug, if you want your way, do it yourself. Even if it can, yeah, let's not go there because that's where I'm getting to the point where I like to hire people because I can't do the stuff I used to do. 5 years ago, I could build a house by myself, going up and down the ladder and whatnot. But now with this osteoarthritis in the knees, I can't do that. Now, if I start going up and down the ladder, which I was this evening a little bit, messing with some light bulbs, trying to fix this, and yeah, I can't. My knees start to hurt, and I got to take them. I got to take the serious medication, which isn't good for you, but it helps out with the osteoarthritis, and so yeah, sometimes it's better just to pay somebody if you have the means to do it. Sometimes we don't have the means to do it, so you just got to do what you got to do. But if I have a specific project or something that I definitely want done a certain way, then I'll probably do it myself if I'm able. And if you guys notice, I'm still rocking the new fad, the one-arm glasses. So, it would be like a modified monocle, but I'm using two lenses. So I don't know what that would be called. But still waiting on the glasses to come in. Let's see, what did I miss here? Yeah, Ray says, yeah. But Lynn told me she checks out the women flirting on my live stream. Hey, if she's got time to do it, Ray, and if that floats her boat, let her do it. You know what you're doing, what you're not doing. Excuse me. And it's all good. It's all good. The other way to look at it is that she cares about you. She cares enough to make sure you're. But sometimes it can be annoying because you're like, what, you don't trust me? Because I've found, this is my opinion now, people can disagree with me, but I've found that jealousy really stems from insecurity. It's insecurity of the person, of they're insecure about how you feel about them. I was married for 25 years and with the lady for 21 years. One of the most insecure ladies that I ever saw. And her insecurity drove her to jealousy. It drove her to control, trying to control everything I did, even how I spent my money that I earned. And also, it drove her to cheat because she was so insecure about herself. She would seek out, validation from other men because apparently, I guess I wasn't giving her to her enough. And quite honestly, whatever, you know, I showed her love. I took care of her. I worked hard. I got promoted as much as I could. Tried to move up to support the family because I had 4 kids, and I did everything I could. But she decided that that wasn't enough, and then she would find somebody else to validate her insecurities. And it's funny, if I were to talk to her, we didn't talk for years. Finally talked to her, and probably 2 or 3 years ago, first conversation we had since we got divorced, really. And you would have thought like we never got divorced and like we were never married, and she just acted like, hey, oh, who are you? Oh yeah, we'll just talk like we're buddies. And I'm like, really? But I tried to be cordial, because I try to forgive her for what she did. But I'm just like, anyway, let me catch up on some of these before I get off on that tangent. And here we go. Michael Paso, whatever. I've been married to Filipina 25 years. She knows. Yeah, yeah. You don't give a yeah. That's all good, man. Everybody's got to do their own marriage. I would never try to give somebody or say model after me because I made my share of mistakes. But I also got zero. I have a zero tolerance policy too. And the way I am now, you lie to me, you cheat. See ya. Don't want to be you. Definitely don't want to be with you. I don't care if you lie to me about your age, your hair color, or if you're, sporting a picture on a dating site that's enhancing not you. I got no time for you, because why not be you? Why be somebody you're not just to get somebody else's attention? It's not worth it. They're not the people you're trying to get attention. If that's the only way you can get their attention, and they go for it, I'd start looking at how shallow are they. They should want to know the real you. Okay, Scuba Steve, it's not worth the fall. Always have some help. Yeah, and I've fallen off ladders twice. And I've fallen off a roof once when I was building houses back in the day. And I was fortunate I didn't get hurt that time. But the second time I fell off the side of a house on a ladder, I got seriously hurt. And I was laid up for a little bit. And I don't ever want to do that again. Excuse me, my nose is itching. Okay, what else? Ray? Yeah, I don't have the stamina for extended working now. I'm with you, Ray. I don't either, but I pretend like I do. LOL, Michael. You're going to start a new fad here with those glasses. I'm working on it. But just about the time that it takes hold, I'll have my new glasses. I just hope I can see again. And what I'm found, these have been working great. Unless I'm sweating and I lean over, then they want to fall off my face. So I got to be careful. I've dropped them on a kind. I'm waiting for them to break. Then I got to start rocking one of my old pair, and that's just not going to be good because I'll get a headache for sure. What in the world was that? I got a cat jumping on my window. Oh, that was interesting. Ray, yep. No shame in my game. She has done much better staying quiet and letting me handle flirting situations tactfully. There you go. There you go. And if she's doing that, that's maturity on her part. You can tell the maturity level of some people by when they start ranting and raving about something that's not legitimate or something that's not real. So, Scuba Steve, if someone has something that they never had before but only dreamt of, maybe that's why they're so possessive or controlling, so they'll know every action you take. Yeah, Steve, and that goes along with what I was saying about the insecurities. That's their insecurities coming out because they may not have ever experienced something before. So they're a little bit apprehensive about it, or they feel a little bit insecure about it because they're not sure of what to do. How do I handle this situation? How do I handle the feelings I'm having? All kinds of things that's behind that. But I still maintain that the root of jealousy is insecurity in yourself. And I think, all of us can get that way a little bit, but, it's how you handle your feelings and how you handle what you're thinking that determines the outcome, ultimately. Let's see. Scuba, where is PK? Not watching Colonel live. It's all good. He's probably busy. Yeah, Steve saying, hey, Angela, if you're, oh, there she is. Yeah, I haven't seen PK yet either. Angela, hey, Scuba. Yeah, he's not there. Haha, that's also annoying here live. Yes, he's not there. I don't understand that, Angela, what you're trying to say there, but that's okay. Oh, but I'm also annoying here live. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. I can be annoying. I'll wear that. I'll wear that right here. No problem. Let's see. Annoying here, grumpy over here. It's all good. Let's see. Ray says, what did I miss here? Yeah, Ray says, I agree. I'm always authentic. It's the only way to make true connections. Absolutely. You got to be real. You know, if you can't be, if you got to be fake, you know, you might make some friends, but they won't last. I should know because I'm a man of few and far between friends because, you know, it's hard work being my friend. You know, I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, I try to be nice, but evidently I'm not nice sometimes, and a lot of that's because I'm sarcastic. I speak my mind. I like to joke around, and some people just don't get my they don't get my humor, my prison humor. They just don't get the twisted mind that's part of the mind of the colonel. You know, and it's okay. I understand that. You don't want to be my friend. It's all good. I had a guy in Thailand who pretended to be my friend for a while, American fella, runs a towing company down in Tampa, Florida. Very wealthy man and doing a great business. He was even running his business from Thailand over the phone. And he had cameras set up. I don't know how many screens he put up in his house in Thailand. And he was monitoring his company and all his workers from Thailand by with a CC with the closed captive TV or whatever you call that. And you know, and he wanted to do some stuff and some construction and whatnot on his house. And you know, he asked me for some advice and some ideas because he knew I'd build houses and stuff. And you know, I was giving him advice and whatnot. And he started to do something that was kind of a dumb idea. And I just told him, I said, man, I wouldn't do it like that. I mean, here's a couple of options you might want to do. And he said, no, I'm going to do this. I said, man, you're not listening to me. He said, yeah, you're right. I'm not listening to you. And then next thing I know, the guy's like kicking me out of his life, don't want to be a friend anymore. And he's posting stuff online like, yeah, got to kick the negativity out of my life. Got to get rid of all the negative people in my life and whatnot. I'm like, dang, dude, it's like that. But I was like, hey, okay, more power to you. I know you don't need me. You know, I was just trying to be a friend, help you out. You don't want it? That's fine. We don't always have to agree, but you know, you can still be cordial about it. You know, tell me to, you know, screw off or whatever. But you don't have to act like, oh, Mr. Negative. I'm like, I wasn't being negative, dude. I was just trying to tell you what you were doing was not a good idea. And I'm curious about how that project ended up. I never went back to see because I wasn't invited. Let me catch up with some of these here. There we go. Yeah, everyone wants a piece of Ray. I'm not even touching that, Ray, and I'm not definitely not touching you. I don't care how good you and I both look. Filipinas are the most beautiful women I have ever known. Steve, you know, I'm glad you realized that. You know, that's more power to you. You know, and you know, if those of us are living in Philippines, that's a safe thing and a good thing to say right there. I wouldn't say anything different. I will be honest. After living 9.5 years in Thailand, I do prefer the Filipino women. You know, even though some of them are crazy, the ones that I've experienced, some of them are emotionally crazy. Um, However, the caring factor and the affection factor is so much better here compared to what I experienced in Thailand. And there's going to be people that live in Thailand that might come on here and totally disagree with me because they're in a really good situation. And their Thai girl just loves them to death and does everything for them. And they probably do. However, I would still challenge them. Okay, do you have any public displays of affection? Do they hold your hand in public? Do they give you a hug? Uh, Anywhere besides the bedroom? That's the difference, in my opinion. As Ray says, you know, Filipinos always think there is a prettier Filipina that will lure you away. Hey, there probably is, but that's on them if they think that. They have to be comfortable in their love towards you, and have to be comfortable in knowing that you love them to be able to get past that. Because quite honestly, there is always going to be a prettier girl, but that doesn't mean that pretty girl is going to steal you away. It's been my experience, browsing around on some of these dating sites. The real beautiful ones, especially the beautiful ones that you know want the attention of the colonel, they're not trying to be in a relationship with me. They got some kind of angle they're coming at me with every time, every time. Not to say the girlfriends that or the ladies that I've met aren't pretty, aren't beautiful, because they are. But the ones that are like over the top, where I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way a woman that looks this good is going to be interested in this. There's just no way. When you're an old looking dude, you're an old looking dude. It's just the way it is. Not that some women don't like that, because some young women do like that. But there's always other factors in it. And I know with me, it's my charming personality. Of course, I'm joking with that. But anyway, there's always other reasons. Just be yourself, you know? Be yourself. And Ray's like, that's not how I roll. I don't either. Ray. Steve, but there are so many here, like 10 to 1. You got to show some wisdom. I generally, I'm so careful now, and because I've been burned before, and I've seen some things, and I put myself in situations that I shouldn't have put myself in. I'm not blaming anybody else. I put myself in those situations, knowing full well what I was doing, and knowing that I shouldn't have done it. And usually, people get hurt because of that. Sometimes me, but usually the other person, not me. I end up hurting the other person, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm very careful, and I also try to counteract the persona that a lot of Filipinas have about foreign men. If a foreign man says they want, tells a girl that, oh, I want to meet, well, automatically some of the girls, they're already thinking, okay, well, he's expecting that, he's going to want me to sleep with him and whatnot. And a lot of them, they're like real apprehensive about that, because they don't want that. Not the first time they meet you. And really, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. Not judging the people that do that, the men that do that. Whatever, you play your game. But there are consequences for the games that we play and the decisions that we make. I don't do that. I prefer not to do that. And I like to tell the girls right up front, hey, yeah, we're gonna meet for dinner or to eat or something. I'm not taking you back to my hotel. Why do I want to do? I don't even know you. Why do I want to do that? But some people do. That's what they do. I had a neighbor in Thailand. This guy, he'll never watch this, so I won't mention his name anyway. I mean, he almost had a different girl for each day of the week. He definitely had 3, and they would roll into his house and take care of business, and then they'd go outside, smoke a cigarette, and roll out. And he'd come over and say, "Hey, Doug, you want me to hook you up?" I'm like, "No, man, I don't do that stuff. If I want to have that, I'm going to have a relationship with somebody, and it's going to be something real. I don't need to pay for that." But that's how he rolled. I don't roll that way. Maybe you guys hopefully don't either. But if you do, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I don't do that. I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah, Ray. Yeah, only one. One Filipina's enough. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna comment on that any further. It is what it is. Hey, Michael C's in the house. Good evening, Michael C. Thanks for coming over. I appreciate that. And you have a good weekend too, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Ray, some of them are crazy. Yeah. Yeah. We're just going to I think I said enough about that already too. And when I talk about crazy, I don't mean mentally crazy. I mean emotionally crazy. And it's been my experience. Let's see. Scuba Steve, I've never been to Thailand. Steve, take a trip, man. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. You go in there, you do the same thing that you got to do for the Philippines. You check in online to get your little clearance or whatever, and and you take your passport. It's free. You go in there, you get 30 days or 29 days or whatever it is, and you can renew. I don't know what they're doing now. The one, not the last time I went back, but the time before that I went back, they gave me 2 months, but now it's down just to 1 month. But you can extend. And, yeah, and it's easy. It's so easy coming and going. I highly recommend. I don't know what visa you have, but I highly recommend those that are going to stay here in the Philippines long term, invest in the SRV visa. Coming and going is so much easier. You flip that little card out, and it's amazing how that little card helps you out with the immigration, with everything. It's just a beautiful thing, especially if you're ex-military. Angela said hi. Hey, Angela. Don't tell on me. Don't tell on me too much. All right, there's the hotness craziness ratio. As hotness goes up, so does craziness. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But I gotta believe that there's some beautiful ones out there that aren't crazy. You know, I know there are, for sure. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And for the sake of this conversation, I'll agree with you. Let's see. You don't do that on the. That ain't what you told me, Ray. Ah, okay. Kicking me to the curb already. No, I'm just kidding. Only on the weekends. There you go. Angela, a lot of crazy, already crazy. Angela, and you and I both know you and I both know when it's crazy. That's for sure. You and I both know it. But yeah, so we could probably talk more about the jealousy. But do you agree with me or disagree with me? Those of you that are watching, 6 of you, appreciate all 6 of you. You agree with me or disagree with me that really jealousy in the end ultimately stems from insecurity on their part about how you feel about them. And sometimes no matter how much you tell somebody you care about them or how much you tell somebody how much you love them, they still get jealous and worry about other people. And you're just like, why? What more do you want me to say to you? What more do you want me to do? Because the jealousy is not about money. It's not a money issue. It's a security issue and an emotional issue. But Angela's laughing, saying hi again. Yeah, 100, Steve, 100%. Thank you. Just a little bit. Who knows? Shift gears a little bit. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but how many of y'all have experienced the marites, the gossiping, and has it affected you in a negative way or a positive way? I like it when the gossiping affects me in a positive way, but it's been my experience it's not usually in a positive way. But sometimes I have had a good laugh about when somebody, hey, you know what your neighbors are saying? They're saying blah, blah, blah. They're saying this. And I'm just like, really? Yeah, that's what they're saying. I said, man, that's so far from the truth. But you know what? It's kind of funny. Let them think that. It's pretty funny. You know. Ray says women have to work for some of this. Ray, goodness. Man, we all just wish we had it as good as you, brother. We wish we had it as good as you. I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm just going to say maybe I'm a second runner up. To your goodness. I don't know. This is what happens to me. Every time I think I'm doing something good or being good, I realize that I'm really not that good. I'm actually kind of a jerk, and I'm really not that nice. Even though, I think I'm being nice or doing something good. If I'm honest with myself, some of the things that I'm doing, I tell myself it's just out of the kindness of my heart. Which of course I get from God. I don't get it. I'm not a good person. If anything good comes from me, it's definitely not coming from me. It's coming from somewhere above. And but anyway, I tell myself I'm a good person. But then if I sit there in my heart of hearts and I start thinking about it, and I know the evilness in my heart sometimes, the evilness of my thinking. I'm really not a good person, but I have a lot of people. Colonel, you're a good person. You're a good guy. You're so nice. I'm like, well, thank you. I'm glad that came across that way, but I know that I'm not, you know. But I have to work at it, and I don't do it of my own accord. A lot of people, they don't want to talk about religion or bring that into it, but if I wasn't the Christian that I am, you wouldn't see it. I'd be in jail right now. You wouldn't see any of the goodness coming out of me, not at all. Because it's not me. I'm I'm not that great of a person. But I like to see when I am able to do good things, when I'm able to help people, and Angela, you can tell them. I'll let you share a story about what I used to do on the other side of the wall. You can tell that story. I don't want to tell it myself because it sounds arrogant or bragging, but I didn't think nothing of it. But I realize now that maybe it was a good thing, maybe it was a bad thing. But I'm hoping that those kids will grow up and they'll remember this old foreigner that lived next door to them and that he was kind to them. And that's kind of why I did that. But anyway, some people would say I was stupid, but I enjoyed it. I don't know if Angela. I'll tell it because now that I'm saying that like that, it sounds kind of weird. But what I used to do is I would save up my coins, and I would keep them in a peanut butter jar, empty peanut butter jar. And then when I'd get enough coins, I'd go over to the wall because the family was on the other side. And there was always bazillion kids over there playing. I don't think they all lived at that house. But they would all go there because the kids were hanging out, carrying on, screaming and hollering. And I would get on my ladder, my step ladder, and I'd go over the wall and I'd start chucking the coins because it reminded me of when I was a kid that at the fairs, they used to have the sawdust box. I don't know if anybody remembers those. And they would hide coins underneath the sawdust, and then blow the whistle, and all the kids, you'd run in there and climb around trying to find as many coins out of the sawdust. So I got that idea, and I started doing that with the neighborhood kids. I would just chuck the coins onto the dirt road, and they would scramble and get as many as they could. And then I saw some of them crying and boo-hooing, and I thought, man, and then I felt bad, because some of the kids, to be honest, they're greedy. And they would be scooping them all, and the little kids would be over there, and all I'm trying to do is give them a few pesos to go to the sorry store and buy some candy. So, so afterwards I'd have to have the youngest ones come over, and I have to make up and give them a little bit so they can at least get a couple pieces of candy. But that's, then I was told, hey, that's really nice of you doing that. But then I got to the point, hey, the only reason these kids are nice to me and call my name out is because they want coins. So I don't know. I think I created a monster. I'm not sure. But it was fun doing it. It made me feel good. Let's see. Ray says, I better behave. Lynn probably stalking, and she doesn't know when I'm joking. Yeah, but I don't think Lynn knows. Oh, yeah, she does know me, but I don't know if she comes onto my live stream or comes onto my channel. Ray, that's why it's good to have me as a live stream viewer. I count for two because Lynn is going to be there as well. Man, you're not getting me caught up in that conversation, man. No way. Not after she called me a womanizer, which is, Lynn, if you're watching this, I may seem like a woman, but I'm not, man. I am the kind of guy, I'm not like Ray. Ray just, and I'm not trying to get you in trouble, Ray, but Ray just attracts the women. Me, I got to beg, borrow, yeah, I don't attract the ladies like that. I never have, even as a teenager. I know there were some girls that wanted me to ask them out, but because of my family situation, I couldn't. My parents were that strict. And anyway, let's see. Ray, okay. Let me keep going. Angela, the kids here miss you. Well, sweetheart, I kind of miss those little kids too. Now, I don't miss some of them boys, and you know the ones I'm talking about. I'm not going to tell you what I wanted to do to them, but they needed some discipline, some of them boys over there. And a funny story. One of the little kids, he knew I was leaving, and what I did was I took my air conditioner out of the window and put the owners back in. They're old, kind of broken down. The kid wanted to steal it out of the window. He's like, let me get there. I said, man, that's not my air conditioner. Because I'm going to come get it. No, you're not. The owner is an American man and his Filipino wife, and they're both older. And that lady doesn't play. She don't play. I told her, I said, you do that at your own risk. And Angela knows who I'm talking about. Okay, Ray. She just sent me a message saying you're handsome on screen. Well, that's your chance. Get all the photos. I learned this in Thailand. Yeah. Thanks, Lynn. I'm assuming she's talking about me, but she might be talking about you, Ray. Telling you you're handsome on screen. That's funny. That is funny. So she is watching. Hey, Lynn. I'm not the womanizer that you think Ray is. Oh, wait, I didn't say that right. I'm not the womanizer that you told Ray I am. Sorry, Ray, I couldn't help myself, man. I apologize. Oh, my goodness. So, anybody got any stories about any of their gossip? Angela, you got any gossip stories? How's my other neighbor doing, by the way? You know who Karen, the one I call Karen. Yep, yeah. But I had a neighbor there where I lived in San Juan, and it wasn't Angela. I didn't have these issues with her, but or her family at all. Her family, they were always good to me. You know, yeah, I don't have anything but good things to say about them. Too many kids over there, though. But anyway, on the other side of my house, across the street, because my house, the side of my house faced the road. The front of my house faced my yard. And, excuse me. Man, my nose is tickling. But anyway, it's a shame you can't edit that stuff out when you're on live, but you can't. It's the real Colonel right here. But the lady on the other side of the street, that busybody, I know she was lonely, and that might have been part of it. But, you know, her daughters came to visit her quite frequently, or they took her to their house. And so she couldn't have been that lonely. But, you know, as you get older and you don't have friends, or your friends neglect you, or your family neglects you, you can get lonely. I've experienced that even myself. You know, it's part of why I'm doing this. I get to meet different people, you know, and I get to have different people hate on me instead of the same people all the time, or my family. So anyway, but this lady, oh my goodness, this lady, she wanted to know everything I was doing, you know, why I was doing it, where I was going. When I traveled, I used to like get up early, sneak out of my house just so she wouldn't see me, because I knew she was going to come running out. And, where are you going? And I'm like, first of all, it's none of your business. Second, I don't want you to know. Third, I'm not going to tell you. You know, I mean, it got that bad, you know. But God love her, you know. That's just who she is, and that's the Filipino word, and I would pronounce it wrong, but marites or marites, whatever, marites. That's what she was, and she was the neighborhood gossip, and I didn't want to fuel that fire because, you know, although, well, even if I told her the truth, so that she wouldn't be telling lies, she'd still make up stuff anyway because it would get back to me. And I'm like, that's not what I told her. That's not what I told her at all. So anyway, Ray says, but I'm super guapo. She calls me SG. Well, Ray, I don't know if you're paying her to say that to you, or if that's just because she really feels that way. We'll just pretend that that's because she really feels that way. And all I can say is, good for you, man. Good for you. You're almost as handsome as I am. I'll give you that. I think you and I could be brothers. The only difference is you're too tall. You know, I'll be the short guapo. And if I can stop these lines from, man, and this light's not doing me any favor. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that shadow right there. That's rough. I think I'm going to do the rest of the live stream like this. There we go. That's the younger version of the Colonel right there. Let's see. I think the saying, this is from Ray, the saying is that someone is coming to visit you when your nose is itchy. Well, man, I got a lot of people come to visit me then. It's either that or I just got a big booger up there trying to work its way out. Excuse me for the grossness, but hey, it is what it is, you know. I worked in a prison. It ain't nothing gonna gross me out anymore. I just try to figure out why I don't have dandruff. It must be the oil, but my head, I don't know. What's it mean when your head itches all the time? I don't have dry skin. I got oily skin. I think it's the dirt flying through the air. It just tickles my head. I'm not sure. You're my brother. Thank you. Appreciate that, bro. Kuya. Yeah. Brother from another. Don't cover up the dimples. I can't, man. They've been with me my whole life. Same thing with this mole here. Been with me my whole life. Even when I was a baby guapo. But yeah. Angela, it's okay, Doug. You're handsome too. Well, Angela, I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, that's what happens when you shave it, right? I think that's because I'm not naturally bald. I shave, and I think that's why it itches. It's a part of it. It's the hair growing back in, and it starts to itch when it's growing back in. And but I've decided I just keep it shaved. I'm lazy to shave, but every couple of days I have to. Otherwise, I get dark shadows, and then I get the silver and the white. When the sun hits it, it's just like blinds people. And so it's just best if I keep it shaved. Dimples are really cute. You're talking about these dimples on the face, right? Because dimples in other places ain't always that cute. But thanks, Fortune. Fortune, welcome there, Kuya. Yeah. Yeah, I was able to reach out to Fortune. That was nice. It popped up there. I assumed it was you, so I appreciate your coming back at me, and that's great. And the cleft chin helps. We have that in common. Yeah, I tell you, I don't know about you, Ray, but you might be too young to shave, but I have a heck of a time getting in that, getting in that sometime. I mean, I got to stretch that stuff out and go for it and go the other direction, and yeah, I've gotten to the point, when you're younger, you can just shave straight, boom, you're done. Now, when you're older, and I got to go different directions and zigzag and all, it's crazy. And then you got little things like this that you end up cutting. It's a mess, man. Getting old is not for the weak. That's a whole nother subject we could talk about. I think I'll save that for another live stream. Just what it's like getting old, what it's like with your body getting old. And yeah, thanks, Fortune. I appreciate the support, brother. Really do. And there you go. Fortune must have been popping up on everybody's social media there. And sometimes I get, I don't know everybody's real name, so I got to take a stab at it and take a chance. And I'm like, yeah, that's got to be him. So, and it was. Fortunately, I got home minutes ago from picking up the daughter from university. She will be home and return to school Tuesday. Man, I'm happy for you, Fortune. That's great. Having the kids come home from school, from the university, get to spend some time with them. Enjoy it while you can, brother. And hopefully the culture is different here, so hopefully your children will always be there for you. Sometimes in American culture, your children aren't there for you, and for various reasons, and some good, some bad. Mine just that's just their attitude. Maybe the way I treated them growing up. They call me the mean dad. I didn't think I knew I was strict, but I used to remind them, hey, you got it easy. I'm not even half as strict as my mom was, and my mom and dad. I'm like, oh my goodness. These people just don't know. They tell me, I get a kick out of some of the young ladies. Oh, my parents I can't go out. I have to bring a friend because, my parents are strict. I'm like, no, your parents aren't strict. Not at all. Not even close. Let me tell you what strict is. And then I would tell them about how I grew up, and they're like, really? Like, yeah. And I haven't done those videos yet, but I'm getting to that point. I haven't finished, I'm still at the point where I haven't been adopted yet in my life story and other videos, and I'll get to those, I promise. I've been busy with this move. But yeah, hopefully y'all have fun weekend, Fortune. Yeah, I'm sure they will. I think it's great. And I had 3 daughters and 1 son, and my son was very quiet growing up. Now, once he starts talking, he's like me. You just can't get him to stop, and which is fine. I don't mind that because then I don't have to take up airtime. But he loses me after about the 3rd or 4th sentence when he's talking about his work. He's an engineer, and I don't have any clue. I didn't take physics, and some of the, you know, calculus times five and whatever he took. He loses, and I'm just like, man, you got, never mind. Sorry, I asked. Just you're doing good, right? He's like, yeah, I'm doing good. Okay, that's all I need to know. And yeah, who's a, oh, Ray. Is it? Yeah, Ray. Ray. Hey guys, I was subscribed in Ray in the Philippines live stream. Yes, I saw you over there. Thank you for coming over here. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And hello back. Fortune says, oh, she's turning 21 in December, second year of college. I would drive her. I would drive to her condo near school on Tuesday, then pick her up on Thursday evening. It'll be a long weekend next for All Saints Day. Well, I think that's great, man. What a blessing. What a blessing to be able to spend time with your children, especially, once they're older, they're in college. That's just great. Because the dynamics of older children as compared to younger is totally different. Once my children, and the culture in America is a little bit different, but once my children turned 18, I pulled them all aside and I said, look, you're 18 now, so I'm going to talk to you like my son. I'm going to talk to you man to man. You're not a kid anymore. Yeah, I'm going to love you and I'm always going to be there for you. But let me tell you what's really going on in life and what you need to be ready for. And it's the same thing with my daughters. I always remind my daughters, hey, these guys out there that you think love you and whatnot, or that you think you're in love with, they're only interested in a couple things. Let's just keep it real. You need to be aware of that. So don't fall for the little games and all the little, their smooth silver tongue, their little smooth talking, and whatnot. They're only interested in a couple things that you got, and it's usually not love, So I used to tell them, be careful. But it's nice to be able to talk to your kids. They're still your kids, always be your kids, but it's nice to be able to talk to them as an adult. I want to say equal, but not equal, because you have so much more life experience than they have. But to be able to talk to them, have a mature conversation, and you're not talking down to them as a parent. You're talking with them. That's a good lesson too. Write that down. When you're talking with somebody, you should talk with someone, not to them. I'm guilty of that a lot because I talk too much. I'm talking at people when I need to be talking with people, which involves active listening and things like that. A lot of things I have to work on. My whole life I've been working on it. Yeah, let's see. Where are we at? Yeah, Ray says, awesome, Ray. Is it Ray or Raya? I hope I'm not saying that wrong. I apologize. Glad you're here to support Colonel. Appreciate me too. Thank you. Fortune, I'm sure she appreciates the dad taxi. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fortune says it's different culture here. In the U.S. at 18 years old, they leave your house. Here she leaves because she goes to university, but always home during the weekends. Well, I did that too, Fortune. Kids still do that in the U.S. when they're in college. They don't all just leave when they're 18 and then they're gone. A lot of them are going to the university or going to college, and they come home during the breaks. Some of them are going to school locally, and they're still living at home. My first year of college, I went away. I lived in a dormitory, but during that time, my father retired from the military, and then he was on the faculty of the college I was going to as the alumni director, because it's the school that he also graduated from, and my mom also. And so I moved back in the house. I took over the second floor of their house, and I lived at home. And by doing that, I had to fall back under their rules. But I'm thankful that they eased up a little bit. But they still had some pretty strict rules for living there. But hey, I was living there for $25 a week. They charged me rent to live there. How many parents do that to their kids, charge them rent to live in their own house? Mine did. But you know what? I learned some valuable lessons from that. I learned responsibility. I learned paying your bills on time, things like that. And it wasn't that much money. Let's see. Ray, yeah, but I'm going to hang out with friends. That's fine, Ray. Ray, I just appreciate that you showed up. Thank you very much. Ray, have fun, Ray. Enjoy your time with your friends. Absolutely. Good friends are hard to come by sometimes. Sorry, I'm hitting my phone. Fortunately, yes, Ray, that's how it is here in the Philippines. I work hard to earn money. but always here for the kids. I only have two girls. The other is 14 years old, and she is a special child. She has autism, nonverbal. Yeah, Fortune, I have some experience with that. Not with my own children, but I dated a woman in Thailand, and her son was, he had severe autism also, and special boy. He was a big boy, but so I'm familiar with, kudos to you, and but every child is special in their own way, and even if they might have disabilities or even autism with being nonverbal, you know what? That's your child, and everyone knows you love them dearly. Sometimes the patience grows thin, but what I've noticed, and I had a secretary also that her son was autistic, and he still lives with her to this day. He's an adult now. He still lives with her to this day. But you know what? She loved him to death, and I know he loved her too, his mom and his sister. And I met him a couple times, nonverbal. He would make noises and stuff. But she had him in some special programs and things like that. And I just think it's wonderful. And I always tell, like I said, people don't want to talk about religion, but I just put it this way: God doesn't give us anything that we don't have the ability to handle, or He'll provide us the grace to handle the suffering that we're going through. And you can agree with that or disagree with that. That's just what I believe. Rand, nice to meet you too. She says, nice to meet you, the Colonel Chronicles. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Fortune, but she can understand when you speak to her in Tagalog and English, except she can't reply back. Well, that's pretty good, Fortune. That's pretty good. If she has the cognitive ability to understand what's being said to her, you're world light years ahead of some people. That's great. That's actually really good, because you can communicate even if she can't communicate back. Does she do any sign language or anything like that? Does she have that ability, or is she just totally nonverbal and non-communicative back? Or is she using symbols or any other way of communicating? I know that there's some therapists out there that they have they're able to teach some of the children with autism to another avenue of communicating, even if it's just tapping or whatever. I don't know if you're involved with any of that or not, but I think that's great that you can speak to her. Many therapies, speech and occupational. Yeah, you do what you can because you love your children. Sorry to hear that, Fortune. Lynn is currently working as a caregiver to a 15-year-old autistic boy. God bless her. Takes a lot of patience. It really does. Unfortunately, with the girl I was dating, I didn't have the patience. But a lot of it was self-preservation too, because he was a big boy, and he jumped on me one day, and I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. I mean, he actually injured me, and I thought, wow, he's only, what was he, 7? And he was a big boy. He's half foreigner, half Thai, and his father is a big man, very big man, and this kid's going to be really big. And in Thailand, they don't take it as serious as they do in some other countries. I told her, I said, you need to be getting help for him, and you need to have a schedule for him, a regimen for every day doing the same thing, so that he gets a routine. And she finally figured that out, that hey, he might know what he's talking about a little bit, and she's doing. I think he's doing better now. I just talked to her a few weeks ago on Instagram. Special lady, she's a really special girl, but I didn't have the patience for her son, unfortunately. That's one of my shortcomings. She's doing a great job. Yeah, kudos to her. Not the same kudos that we give to the P, but kudos to Lynn for the job that she's doing. Careful, Ray, don't say anything. There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man, but God is faithful. Yeah, who will suffer you to be tempted above that you're able. But with the temptation also make a way to, I can't remember the rest of it. But the words I'm thinking too is not that one, Ray. It's the one where it says, my grace is sufficient for thee. And no matter what you're going through, the grace of God is there for you. Escape so that you may be able to bear it. There you go. Yeah. Make a way for you to escape so that you may be able to bear it. Yep, that's applicable also. Oh, I almost blocked you. Yeah, Luna goes to special class. Oh, that's a great name, Fortune. I love that name. That's great. Luna goes to special class Tuesday to Friday. Then a speech and occupational therapy 1 hour once a week. Then a therapist goes here to our house 2 days a week, 2 hours each, and an hour, another 2 hours in another center on Friday. I don't think you can do much more than that. You know, if you want to have your child at home with you, you can know Woods School, and that's a center where the children with disabilities and whatnot are there 24/7, and unfortunately, a lot of them are the children of some of your Hollywood movie stars or some of your very wealthy people, and they're hiding their children there because they don't want the public to know. So they send them to the Woods School. And my friend worked there. I went to work with him one day, and after being with him there for a couple hours, I left and we got done. I said, man, brother, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that. It takes a special person, special people to go through, and because he had a caseload, he had several, not just one. He had a house. They had like dormitories or whatever, and he had several people that he'd take care of at the same time. Severe disabilities, autistic, the whole 9 yards. So I had utmost respect for him. Special guy. Our full government name is, hold on, let me see. Louisa Natalia, nickname Luna. Hey, that's all beautiful. Yeah, that's great. That is great. Yep, you combined it. That's great. Ray, you picked up on that quicker than I did. I would have figured it out in a minute, maybe. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Luna means moon. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ugh. Oh, my little thing went off. Maybe I've been on. Oh, I've been on here over an hour. Check that out. Hold on a second. I gotta. Yeah, maybe. Is it working? Nope, not working. Bear with me. There we go. Now we're back. Fortune says my elder daughter in university, her full name is Maria Anastasia Gervasio Ibirnas. Fortune, I'm going to butcher your last name, brother. You'll have to tell me in person, if we ever meet in person, how to pronounce that. We call her Meiji. Usually Maggie in America has two G's. But anyway. Yeah. Yeah, Fortune, Steve, if you're still there, Fortune says good private message. I tell you what, it's been over an hour. I'm going to get off here, and I'm probably talking too loud for my neighbors again. Ibirnes. I was close. I was close. Yeah. Yeah, but is it, yeah, but Fortune, how are you pronouncing it? Are you pronouncing it Maggie or Meiji? Yeah. Filipino names are always long. Nicknames are crucial. Yeah, Ray, you know what's funny? They see my ID and they see my first name and my middle name, and I don't know why in the Philippines, they always think my middle name is my first name. And they'll come out and they'll call him and they'll go, sir, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's not my name. But you want me. And you're like, oh, what's your name? That's my middle name. I said, why do you guys do that with Americans? We don't use our middle name. Unless you're down south. And down south, you might be called by your middle name. It's a cultural thing. Ah, Steve's back. There you go. Like Maggie. Okay, Fortune, thank you. Because I really don't like to mispronounce names. And, I pride myself on trying to have correct pronunciation. Because, I'm semi-educated. Even though I don't sound like it sometimes, I actually am. But listen, thanks everybody for joining. If you didn't hit the like, go ahead and hit the like. Oh my goodness, there's a blast from the past. Kevin Stremmel. Oh my goodness. Kevin, please don't tell on me. Hey folks, that's a gentleman right there. Kevin, I'm over here in the Philippines live streaming, by the way. And all the people that are on here are from the Philippines. Kevin Stremmel that's an awesome man right there. He's a co-worker of mine and in the prison. And oh my God, did we have some good times? And we also used to commute together. We would drive to work together, and we would share everyday things. And Kevin, what I'm doing, not on these live streams, some of the stories come out, but on the regular videos that I post, I'm telling my life story. And brother, you're gonna be in that story someday, if I live long enough to get to that point. But this is a man here, folks, that I have the utmost respect for, and we worked in Philadelphia together actually, and but we used to have some good times in that conference room. We definitely we definitely know how to play. What was that shit? Whose line is it anyway? Using whatever props we could find. And I know I'm telling ourselves we should have been working. I'll just say it was on our lunch break. Oh, we had some good times. Some good times. I hope the family's well, Kevin. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in here. That's great. I was just getting ready to stick around for a little bit. But did you retire yet, brother? Or are you getting ready to? He definitely stayed a lot longer than I did in the bureau. I couldn't take it anymore. Ray, my middle name's Wesley. Okay. Yeah, Kevin's good people right there. That's great. All is well. Good to hear. These are some Americans, Kevin, that live over here in the Philippines. Uh, I believe it was Steve. Yeah, Steve's near me, not too far. He's up the road. 29 years and going strong. Wow. I, you must not. That's right. You're not in the joint anymore. I don't think. If I could have gotten a job where I wasn't in the joint, I probably could have stuck around longer too. But that captain gig just about wore me out, man. Too much stress. And well, Steve, we're not gonna hold that against you. You know, we're not gonna hold that against you that you're from California. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. My buddy in Thailand that I was talking about before, he's from California also, but he's a staunch conservative. He's definitely not your typical liberal Californian. Now I don't think you are either, Steve. But so are you getting ready? I was going to say you're getting ready to go to work, Kevin. But it's what is it? Sunday over there, so you're not going to work, obviously. If you're not, what? Well, I won't, we'll talk later. I'll private message you if I get a chance. But I appreciate you coming over, man. And subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. Hit me a like up there. Give me a thumbs up. And I was talking to one of my other friends on here, and I realized that I don't expect this to take off, or it might not even get monetized. But if it does, I realize I'm retired. I can only make a certain amount of money. I got to be careful. Yeah, I don't want YouTube to mess me out of my retirement. That would not be a good thing. Ray says, I'll be here for the next one. Enjoy your evening. Colonel D. Thanks, Ray. Thanks for coming over, man. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate the support. Thank you. Kevin's Saturday, working the American Legion. You bet. There you go. There you go. All right, what are they doing? You working, they got a bar there, or are you calling bingo, or what are you doing at the AL? Jess does expat taxes. She can help you. Yeah, there you go. I just use TurboTax. I'm using TurboTax. They haven't done me wrong yet, and my taxes right now are so simple, and it's all good. Your water pump sounds like, man, Steve, don't even bring up that water pump, man. That's a sore spot. That was supposed to be fixed and taken care of before I moved into this house, and my homeowner, he worked on it 3 days after I moved in here. And I finally, God bless him, what he should have done was put in a, this escapes my mind now. A self-priming pump is what he should have done. And he didn't. He's got a pump on there that you got to prime to get it to work. Well, and there's a leak somewhere that he doesn't want to fix because he would have to tear up all the lines. He just doesn't want to do it. So it runs. Every 30 seconds to a minute, it comes on and repressurizes the tank, fills it back up. And I thought, I got to think, if you get a self-priming pump, I'll just unplug that thing during the night so it doesn't run. During the day, I don't care so much. I'll unplug it at night so it doesn't drive my neighbors batty, just like my talking probably is. But I'll unplug it, then I can plug it back in the morning, and it'll self-prime and start up. but the pump he's got on there is not self-priming. So when I unplug it at nighttime, I got to get up in the morning, take it apart, dump water down in there until it primes and starts pumping again, and start my day again, because I don't want my electric bill to be crazy, you know, which it probably won't be that crazy, but why waste it when I don't need to waste it, you know? But I apologize for that. But yeah, it's got that squeal going, but that's what they all, you know, that type of pump, that's what they sound like. Oh, you're the commander at the American Legion, Kevin. I didn't know that. Good for you. Good for you. You're tending the bar. There you go. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, it's leaking. Some of the PVC that he's got is under concrete, and there's probably a leak somewhere. We got most of the leaks that we could see, but there's definitely a leak somewhere, and that's why it keeps running. But I may try to track it down, but it's not my house, and it's his responsibility, not my responsibility, especially for the rent that he's charging me. And Fargo Lefty, good to meet you. Thanks for coming over. I don't. I apologize if I don't recognize. I don't know that I've seen you before. Thanks for the jokes. Yeah, laughter is the best medicine. But I'll tell you what, Steve. You know, after the life that I've had and the job that I had, and Kevin can tell you this too. You gotta laugh, man, because life can be downright depressing. It can be downright stressful. I lived a life of stress. My job was very stressful, and Kevin can tell you. You know, he and I had long conversations, and I'm here to tell you PTSD is real, and some of the stuff that I've seen, I wish I'd never seen. Same with Kevin, and Kevin goes, he goes. His military days were prison days, so he's did more time in the prison than I did. Um, but you know, I used to joke with some of the inmates. I had more time in prison than they did, because working double shifts, and you know, then when I made captain, I was, you know, coming in 2 hours early and leaving 2 hours late, just because I felt like that's what needed to be done to make sure that everything was, you know, running the way I wanted it to be run, and I wouldn't have to answer for something unforeseen that I didn't know about already. So, but thanks, Steve, man. I appreciate it. If you can laugh along with me, I'm good. I appreciate that, because I love to laugh. Because if you're not laughing, you're crying. That's kind of the way I look at it. But yeah, and Angela says, yes, Steve, you must always be happy. You know, Angela, you're right. You know, we're always happy. We're not promised happiness, but we do the best we can. You know, with what we're given. Yeah, I've been to Jersey, the armpit of the earth. Absolutely. I did military training in Jersey. Yep. 2 different places. Yeah, Fort Dix, which there's a federal prison there at Fort Dix now. Right, it's right where my barracks were. Just about. The fence is right beside the barracks that I stayed in for boot camp. And I was also at Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, for a little bit. But yeah, I call Jersey the armpit of the earth. Some really beautiful parts. They call it the Garden State for a reason, because if you go to certain parts, it's very beautiful. But I still, you drive up through Newark and whatnot. I'm sorry, that's the armpit of the earth. That's what I call it. No offense to anybody. But actually, I really don't care. It's the armpit of the earth. It is what it is. Angela says, Steve, depends on where you are having fun. So laughter really is the best medicine. Born in Rahway. Okay. Now, I did have a good friend in Vineland, and there's a prison down there in southern Jersey, too. I don't know where Rahway is. I know where Rahway, Thailand is, but it's spelled differently. That's on Phuket. I lived there for several years. Angela says, so just enjoy life as long as we're still breathing. Absolutely, Angela. You're absolutely right. You know, but sometimes, you know, in life, you're not always enjoying life. And so then you got to ask yourself, why not? And am I content where I'm at? You know, we should be content. And that's something I struggle with. I haven't been content. Just have to ask forgiveness for that, for not being what I'm given. Rahway has the state prison. Okay. Yeah, I will say this. The corrections New Jersey State Correction, they get paid very well, or they used to. Better than the feds, better than the federal system. They make people that work for the state in New Jersey. They made good money. I don't know if they still do, but they used to. I really don't know now. All right, folks. I tell you what, I'm getting sleepy. I'm going to get off here. I really appreciate everybody that came on, and for those people that stuck. Thanks for coming in, Steve. Thanks for joining us, Ray. I think Ray left already, but appreciate Ray. Fortune, appreciate you. You support a lot of people on YouTube, Fortune, and we're all fortunate to. No pun. We're fortunate to have you come on, Fortune, and support us. Fargo Lefty, thank you. And I apologize about that water pump. It's the nature of this house, you know. Kevin, I don't know if you're still on there, brother, but you know, I love you like a brother. Appreciate all that you did for me back in the day, and hopefully you appreciate the stuff I did for you. You're a good man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate it. And if you want, give a shout out there in the American Legion. Hey, I'm talking to somebody in the Philippines. They might get a kick out of that. But I'm going to sign off, folks. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you haven't, although I believe most of you have, or you wouldn't still be here. And I appreciate that. Oh, did we have someone at the end? No. Yes, Angela, I'm sleepy. I sure am. I woke up again really early this morning. And I appreciate that, Kevin. You're truly a brother, man. And only you know why and how, man. I appreciate you. I really do. And tell Jess I said hey if she remembers me. And the kids too. All right, guys. Take care. God bless. Colonel's out. If I can figure out. There we go. One more button. There we go.